Greedy Crane. Once a crane lived by the side of a lake. The lake had plenty of fish and other water creatures. When the crane was young, he had a nice time there. Now the crane was old, far from the swiftness needed to catch a fish. Often he had to remain hungry. One day, the crane could not catch a single fish the whole day. In the evening, the crane started crying loudly out of hunger. The crab and other fishes heard his loud wailing and asked why he had been weeping. The clever crane lied.
Oh friends, I'm crying for you people. A fortune teller has told me this lake will dry up very shortly. I'm worried what will happen to you innocent creatures. As I grew up by this lake, the possible death of you friends will make me feel sad and worried. I have even stopped.
The gullible fishes believed his words and said in the worried voice,
Oh Crane, you are the oldest and most experienced among us. Please save our lives from this calamity.
The shrewd crane, who was waiting for this opportunity, immediately agreed to render his help. The crane said,
There is another lake at some distance from here. I can pick you up from this lake one by one and can drop you there safely.
Hearing this, the fishes and other creatures of the pond rejoiced and thanked him for his kind gesture. And with this, the old crane's problem of hunger was solved. The sly crane pretended to help them and started shifting creatures one by one. But this old crane was no saint. On the pretext shifting the creatures to another lake, he took them to a dense forest where there was a big rock. The old crane could very easily kill the creatures there without any haste and eat them up. Days passed this way. Every day, the creatures who were willing to shift to the other lake requested him to oblige them at the earliest possible. The crane took them also and had a nice meal. One day, a crab who was also the resident of the same lake said,
Since so long, I have been requesting you to transport me to the other lake. So for you have been obliging only the fishes. Now it is my turn. You take me on your back to the lake.
The crane took the crab on his back and flew towards the rock. On the way, the crab asked about the shifted fishes. The crane thought that as the crab was on his back and they were far away from the lake, there was no danger in speaking the truth. He laughed.
Ha ha ha! There is no lake around. All the other creatures who were transported by me are resting safely in my stomach. Now be prepared to go to the same place.
The moment the crab heard the crane's bitter truth, he held the crane's long neck between his sharp claws and severed it. The crane died immediately. The crab returned to the lake crawling and told the whole story to the residents there. The lake inhabitants thanked the crab for saving their lives with his wisdom and his promptness. 2 goats and a bridge. There was a river in a small village. People used a narrow bridge built over the river to cross it. One day, a goat was crossing the bridge. He saw another goat crossing the bridge in the opposite direction. The bridge was so narrow that there was no space for both of them to pass. Both of the goats didn't want to go back. One goat said to the other goat,
You should go back since I am stronger than you.
The other goat denied, saying it's stronger. Both of them argued for a while. Later, one goat put down his horns to fight, to show it's stronger than the other. They fought furiously and both of them lost their balance and fell into the stream below. The swift current of the stream carried them away in the deep water, and both of them were drowned. After a while, another two goats came on the same bridge in opposite direction. Both of them started quarreling that one goat should give way to other. This time, one goat thought for a while and asked the other goat to stop. He said,
If we both fight, we will fall into the river and be drowned. Instead, I have a plan. I will lie down and you walk over me.
Then the wise goat laid down on the bridge, and the other goat walked over him. So they passed each other and went on their ways. Moral of the story: think before you act.
The Foolish Donkey. A salt seller used to carry the salt bag on his donkey to the market every day. On the way, they had to cross a stream. One day, the donkey suddenly tumbled down the stream and the salt bag also fell into the water. The salt dissolved in the water and hence the bag became very light to carry. The donkey was happy. Then the donkey started to play the same trick every day. The salt seller came to understand the trick and decided to teach a lesson to it. The next day, he loaded a cotton bag on the donkey. Again, it played the same trick, hoping that the cotton bag would still become lighter. But the dampened cotton became very heavy to carry and the donkey suffered. It learned a lesson. It didn't play the trick anymore after that day, and the seller was happy. Moral of the story: luck won't favor always.
The Thirsty Crow. One hot day, a thirsty crow flew all over the field looking for water. For a long time, he could not find any. He felt very weak, almost lost all hope. Suddenly, he saw a water pot below the tree. He flew straight down to see if there was any water inside. Yes! He could see some water inside the pot. The crow tried to put his head into the pot. Sadly, he found that the neck of the pot was too narrow. Then he tried to push the pot to tilt the water to flow out. But the pot was too heavy. The crow thought hard for a while. Then, looking around it, he saw some pebbles. He suddenly had a good idea. He started picking up the pebbles one by one, dropping each into the pot. As more and more pebbles filled the pot, the water level kept raising. Soon it was high enough for the crow to drink. His plan had worked. Moral of the story: think and work hard. You may find solution to any problem. The Fox and the Grapes. One afternoon, a fox was walking through the forest and spotted a bunch of grapes hanging from a lofty branch.
Just the thing to quench my thirst,
Said the fox. Taking a few steps back, the fox jumped and just missed the hanging grapes. Again, the fox took a few paces back and tried to reach them, but still failed. Finally, giving up, the fox turned up his nose and said,
they're probably sore anyway.
then he walked away. Moral of the story: it's easy to despise what you cannot have.